What's up, YouTube? Any mention that I make of JW.org, Jehovah's Witnesses, their digital, online, or printed materials is done under the Copyright Disclaimer Copyright Act of 1976 for fair use for purposes such as criticism, news reporting, and teaching, research too, etc., etc. Peace.
What up, freedom fighters, freedom tellers, freedom seekers? This is Nebulous No More, video number 4. And I'm sure there's some field service group out there where the brother is conducting on today, which is the 23rd of November. And he's all like, today is a secular worldly holiday, but we as God's people, we take our good news anyway. Or morning worship, and they're out there on the East Coast again reiterating the worldly holiday and how witnesses we give all the time. There's no specific day, blah, 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 like the world. As I recall, I think homeless people are entreated, fed, clothed daily, not by witnesses, but by these worldly people who seem to be picking only the 23rd of November, which is not true. It's not true. Worldly people donate time, medicine, money, energies, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year, 366 if it's a leap year. So this trick that witnesses believe in or tell each other that the worldly people only use Thanksgiving as a day of giving and showing thanks. It's not, it's a lie. Point blank lie. Which is why I'm doing this short video today with giving as the theme. I'm sure whatever I bring up, there have been 20 or more videos already on this subject, and I think we should keep telling this stuff over and over, keep sharing it over and over, because the more of us that share it, the more people has the opportunity of exposing itself to, or them being exposed to it. So I have a dog upstairs that doesn't like being in the kitchen right now. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about the reason we really, when I was in the truth, we really, or what they call the truth, we really went to the donation basis arrangement. So this was in 90, I think I was maybe 12, and there was a service meeting and then a special announcement, and the brother read a letter from the branch that talked about, like, what was that letter saying? It was saying the time has come, yada, 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 and we know that if God ever had to ask for money, that meant that the end was near and the preaching work was either complete or near its completion. So with that, through Holy Spirit direction, the society, the branch, whatever you want to call them, the governing body, they had decided to no longer charge specific amounts for the literature, but to charge, or not charge rather, but to say at the doors, we do our work on a donation basis. So there would be no charge anymore. I think like a set of magazines was 50 cents. I don't remember how much a Bible was, but I was into the placing of magazines for the small cost of 50 cents or a quarter if you only wanted one of the articles. So they read this letter, and I believe it's 1990, and we're now no longer going to charge set amounts of money. The branch is discerned through the Holy Spirit. God's power told them to now go to a donation basis only arrangement. So the householder, if they were interested and promised to read the literature, we could leave it with them and then tell them we're involved in a Bible educational work and it's supported by donations only. If you would like to give a donation of your choosing, whatever size or amount, blah, blah, blah. So that's what they still do today. And that's what I'm talking about is the real reason why we went to that. And again, my dad, as I ranted to him well over a year ago, he was like frustrated with me not accepting the truth. And he said, well, what do you want from them? And I said, to be transparent, like keep it real. So they need to keep it real about why we went to donation basis only. And the reason we did that, the real reason, I have some notes here. I had heard rumors when I started looking for the truth about what they call the truth about the truth. So I sought out this information on my own. And there is a downloadable PDF. I'll leave an email address for you to use if you want to talk to me. And through that email address, you can obviously contact me, but I'll give you or send you the PDF so that you can get this document for yourself. So what really went down is in the late 80s, like 87, 88, Jimmy Swaggart, the televangelist, had amassed millions of dollars through his ministry and in the selling of his literature and like books, holy water, whatever. So California told him in so many words, you're no longer a nonprofit dude. You're making money and a pretty good living. You're now a millionaire from doing this voluntary God's work, which sounds very familiar, right? So when the branch heard about that, they said, we're going to try to help this dude not be taken to task by the courts because the Supreme Court of California wanted to start taxing Jimmy Swaggart. So the branch wrote a letter to this court that was trying Swaggart or investigating his level of tax exemption and being a nonprofit. So the branch supported Jimmy Swaggart, which if one of us had done that, it'd have been the most appalling thing, right? So the branch wrote this letter, and it's dated October term 1988. They did turn it in, though, to the court in 89. And it is to the Supreme Court of the United States, Jimmy Swaggart Ministries appellant versus the Board of Equalization of California appellee. So this brief of amicus curiae, Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York Incorporated, was written and submitted by James M. McCabe and Donald T. Ridley 25 Columbia Heights, yada, yada, yada. Phone number 718-596-4993. Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. So I have it in digital form here on another device, iPhone 6 that I don't have active. I use it as like a iPod, but as the letter sets out, they talk about how in California there are, well, in the U.S., there are 800,000 witnesses in 48 contiguous states, including over 132,000 witnesses in California. Every one of these Jehovah's Witnesses is an active door-to-door minister preaching the good news of God's kingdom to willing listeners and offering the Watchtower or Awake magazine for 30 cents for various pamphlets and $1 to $3 for various books, all on religious subjects. So at the time this was written, there was 30 cents for Watchtower and Awake magazine, or Watchtower or Awake magazine. So 30 cents separately, 60 cents together. I was off by 10 cents. I thought it was only 50 cents. And then $1 to $3 for any of the books at that time. So now they go on through this, like the 132,000 door-to-door ministers in California are not selling this. This is not a tangible, personal, retail situation. They view it as God's work. And in addition, if the activities of the witness ministers are subject to taxation, because they're making an argument, don't tax swagger, because they know next they'll start getting taxed, not only in California, but internationally and nationally. So it says, in addition, if the activities of the witness ministers are subject to taxation by the state, other taxing authorities, e.g., or ergo examples being counties, municipalities, presumably, could tax their taxes as well. As might be expected, the occasional placement of magazines and pamphlets for contributions of 25 cents or 30 cents, or of books for $1, does not generate much income. For us, as rank and file, it didn't. But we know they have billions of dollars now that came from those who came into the truth, basically from the 50s through the like late 70s, early 80s. So this is true, but it is not transparent. You get what I'm saying? There is not much generated into each individual pocket of that publisher. He or she already paid for that literature at the counter, literally paid a fee to get it, and then turn that money over to the branch after getting a donation now, but then 30 cents, 60 cents, 50 cents, $1 to $3, whatever a person gave them at the door. Many people took that and then also gave it to the congregation to give to the branch. So, no, we didn't make a lot of money, but the branch sure as heck made a lot of money. And that tells me that Matthew chapter 10, when Jesus sent out the 12 apostles, in chapter 10 of Matthew, verse 8, he told them, heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse lepers, cast out demons. You receive without paying, give without pay. Acquire no gold or rollies for your wrists, or silver or copper for your belts. No bag for your journey, or 2 tunics, or sandals, or a staff, for the laborer deserves his food. The laborer deserves his food. So he's telling them, you got the message and it saved you, but it came to you for free. So give the message that saved you and brought you to me, God, and the Father. Give that message for free also. But no, here they go, trying to fight the courts to keep charging people for the life saving message provided by God to mankind for free. So, as they conclude what is a 6-page letter, they mention the First Amendment, and it assures the freedom of speech and press and religious exercise, and again make an argument that they're not into the retail selling of Bible literature for a profit. So, in conclusion, they make this argument in the last few pages that just like a person can go to a synagogue or a church and hear a minister from a pulpit give a discourse or a speech, that's the same thing that door to door work is, except there's a printing cost, which I'm sure it doesn't cost 30 cents to make. Back then, a horribly colored, bad sketch magazine that was like 32 pages. So it says here, Watchtower agrees with the court below in spreading the gospel, whether by age-old methods or by new technologies, is protected by the free exercise clause of the First Amendment. Jimmy Swaggart Ministries versus Board of Equalization cites the date he's being charged and the court numbers. However, Watchtower disagrees with the California court's abandonment of the following fundamental principle in this, as they saw it, precedent-setting case simply called Murdoch. And that read, the mere fact that the religious literature is sold by itinerant preachers rather than donated does not transform evangelism into a commercial enterprise. If it did, then the passing of the collection plate in church would make the church service a commercial project. The constitutional rights of those spreading their religious beliefs through the spoken and printed word are not to be gauged by standards governing retailers and wholesalers of books. So they're lying here. They have become a commercial enterprise. They ask you to donate via credit card or set up automatic withdrawals from your bank accounts. They knew what they were trying to do in the sense of protect that set price because of projections of growth and monetary income. And if they had to go to a donation arrangement, it would be left to the people in the world, quote unquote, those people at the door, and also the congregants, the rank and file, to decide how much to give. And there would be losses, which we know that's why they make now, well over 20 years later, JWTV announcements like, well, we're taking in less than we're giving out. Stop buying buildings to prove your growth and to prove you are a nonprofit. Just stop buying buildings. Only print Bibles. That's all you need is Bibles. But no, they make this fight. A year or so later, Jimmy Swaggart does lose his status as just being a religious minister and becoming a commercial entity. He is taxed. Witnesses in 1990, the branch then decides to feed us some bull answer or response about being told by the Holy Spirit it is now time to stop charging for the literature and offer it on a donation basis only. But the true, real reason is because this appeal letter they wrote on behalf of Jimmy Swaggart didn't work. California taxed Jimmy Swaggart. Watchtower wanted to avoid being taxed and losing that privilege of being a religious nonprofit organization. So they went to donation arrangement only. Like, keep it real. This was not something the Holy Spirit told you to do. because the day God has to ask for money, which is what you're doing now. So if you want to read this for yourself and see how they supported Christendom in their minds, so if you want to read this letter for yourself, I will leave my email address in the description, and you can check out the Watchtower bogus reason for going to a donation basis only. We released this video on this secular holiday of giving thanks because they're not being truthful about why we give and the reasons why we switched from one method of payment for the literature to the other. So it seems fitting. It's about giving. So 27 years ago when we went to the donation basis, and now I don't have to worry about that. Should have told us the truth. This is Nebulous No More. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram and leave me some comments. Peace.